my dad, he could do all these voices and characters and stuff, but whenever I would visit him in the nursing home, he always told the same two jokes. I said, Dad, I'm a joke writer. People pay me money. I could help you. Why do you always tell them the same? He said, Alzheimer's. They still laugh. Yeah. Oh, that's my dad. Folks ask why I keep doing this. It's mainly to see my wife laugh. No, really, that's she's got a wonderful laugh, but she's a tough crowd. She is. I mean, she's got very high standards, and if I can make her laugh, I feel like I've done a pretty good job. And she stayed with me for 46 years. Somebody asked, people ask me, what makes for a good long marriage? And I say, the main thing is, one of the things is to start off with a good honeymoon. Start off with a good honeymoon that you can talk about the rest of your life. And my wife and I spent a honeymoon night in Athens, and then we went to Paris, and then we drove to Rome, and then we drove to Austin because we were tired of hanging around East Texas. We were tired of doing that, yeah. How many are shocked I'm still awake? Any of that there? I once fell asleep during a rectal examination. That's when they kicked me out of proctology school. Did that deal. Speaking of, I recently got one of those colonoscopies. Anybody else have the pleasure? No? Some of you guys? Yeah? Let me tell you, I haven't been penetrated that deeply since the last time I was abducted by aliens. Jose and Manuel. Oh my God. Let me ask. I know there's some improv people get up here sometimes, but let me ask, am I the only one who took those walk like a zombie lessons? You know what I'm talking about? A couple of years ago on that run up to December 21st, zombie apocalypse day, Mayan calendar is going to run out. You remember that deal going on? Yeah. I lived 3 blocks from a cemetery. I was going to be ready when they came walking down my street. I took so many walk like a zombie lessons, I cannot now not walk like a zombie. And the zombie apocalypse never happened. That's like $2,000 I'm never going to get back. I think that's proof there's no God. Because what kind of God would let a Jew lose money like that? Christians, yeah, somebody's got to pay retail. You want more proof there's no God? Big Hurricane Sandy comes in, wipes out the Jersey Shore, and Snooki is still standing. You guys are not into those reality shows? Some of you guys watch that stuff? Watch the reality shows? I cannot keep up with the Kardashians. You guys know what I'm talking about? Those Kardashian sisters? Kim, Khloe, Kourtney. You know what I'm talking about, right? Kim, Khloe, Kourtney. Some people call them the KKK sisters. Who would ever thought one day there'd be a group called KKK filled with black men? Who would have ever thought that? Who would ever thought that? Yeah. Don't applaud this, but I recently signed up for that Adopt an Orphan program. Yeah, both my parents are dead. Well, they said, well, Mr. Silliman, we never had an orphan with a white mustache before. I said, well, the sun will come up tomorrow. Yeah, that's what I said. You were going out there and saying, what's going on? There's an old guy singing badly. What do we do? Take a wrong turn, end up in Branson? You guys know what Branson is, don't you?
Yeah.
Branson is the place where long dead careers go for their resurrection. At the nightclubs, music halls in Branson, they shouldn't have doors in front of them. They should have big old boulders that you roll out of the way. I bet you thought you'd never see that. A Jew doing a resurrection joke. You thought you'd never see that. I did a couple of jokes there about there not being a God. Let me say this. Branson is proof that there is a God. 2012. A big tornado hits Branson. There you go. Well, let's put it this way. You know, some people say, wait a moment. Branson is God's little entertainment village. Why would God send a tornado into Branson? And the thing is, it didn't hit all of Branson. It just hit a little part of Branson, part of downtown. And it wiped out the Titanic Museum. The replica of the Titanic. 100 years, almost to the date of the sinking of the original Titanic, 1912. God never liked that ship. You think those icebergs got out, got off course by coincidence? No, I don't think so. That ship, the Titanic, violated the second commandment. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. That ship was named after the Titans. Greek gods. Greek gods. Now you get it right. Well, if you don't get it there, in 1993, a ship named Neptune capsized and sunk. So what I'm trying to say is, don't get on a ship named after a Greek or Roman god. Any questions? You remember that? Yeah, no questions here. Shauna probably has a question for me. And yes, Shauna, I do not suffer from premature ejaculation. My ejaculation is very mature. My ejaculation watches foreign films with no chase scenes. My ejaculation listens to chamber music. My ejaculation drives a station wagon. If my ejaculation were a money shot, it'd be municipal bonds. Got some books. I'm gonna tell you about the books in a little bit, but I do have some books. I bought I think 3 or 4 of the books that I've written with me tonight there. You noticed me walking all around this floor here a little bit ago. I was a little concerned about it. I thought I might get cramps. And then I'd be known as the LeBron of comedy. That joke kills in Miami. Along with Glocks and bath salts. It does. No more questions, huh? No more questions. I am from Norman, kind of the Oklahoma City area. I do want to tell people that some of you guys know Oklahoma City very well. You don't know much about it. Okay, some people, okay, you appreciate this. I tell people that Oklahoma City has a sense of humor. And one way you can kind of see that is if you go to 24th and Claxton in Oklahoma City, what they got there is a big giant milk bottle. That's where we put our pictures of missing fat kids. Wrap your head around that concept for a second, okay? A fat kid, missing. All his life, all his schoolyard playground games, he could only play seek. And now he's hidden well enough to be missing. I think if your face is on the side of a milk carton, that's like being inducted in the Hide and Seek Hall of Fame. Some people say, well, Silliman, well, he could have been abducted, he could have been abducted. And I'm saying, the fat kid? Abducted? Somebody must have really wanted him, because they were going to sign up for a lot of grocery bills. It's another win-win. I've been doing that for a while. One time after a show, a lady comes up and says to me, he says, I know you're just doing jokes, but my boy is chubby, and he ran away from home. Seriously? Ran? Ran? But I tell people, okay, there's one group of people, I'm going through all this stuff about Oklahoma City having a sense of humor. There's one group of people who think that Oklahoma City doesn't have a sense of humor. That's people from Seattle. You might understand this a little bit. People from Seattle think that Oklahoma City stole the basketball team. Well, we did. But they think it's a conspiracy, okay? They think it's a conspiracy. That, like, we sent somebody named Bennett up to Seattle to bend them over and rape them out of their team. Like, Bennett come up there and said, hey, Seattle, I got a Space Needle for you. How does this make your Puget Sound? Is this grunge enough for you? Should we make it a little more grande, stick it up your Starbucks? But I tell the people from Seattle when I see them, I tell the people from Seattle, Oklahoma City does have a sense of humor. And to kind of typify that, I say that we've built downtown a new 850-foot tall building called the Devon Tower. And I don't know if you guys have been there, you've seen it or anything like that. You know that the other buildings downtown are about 350 to 500 feet tall. And the Devon Tower stands out like a sore thumb. Except from some angles, it looks less like a thumb and more like the Devon Tower. So to prove the sense of humor, what Larry Nichols and Clay Bennett have done, they've paid the pilots from Delta that when they're flying from Seattle to Miami or from Seattle to Atlanta, they're paying them when they go over Oklahoma City to drop down about 5,000 feet. And for the pilot to get on the loudspeaker and say, attention, people from Seattle. If you look off to your left, you'll see the Chesapeake Arena. That's where your Seattle Supersonics are now playing. And if you look a little farther left than that, Clay Bennett says hi.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did jokes about Oklahoma City. I know Jason mentioned to me he wanted me to do a football joke or two or something. So I'm going to say toss the Golden Hurricanes. That's okay. Let me ask this question. Let me toss the Golden Hurricane. When was the last time a hurricane hit Tulsa? Where did they come up with that name? Where did they come up? what you're thinking of. You think of Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. It's kind of like golden showers. It's kind of, you know, I don't know how. I don't know if there's any alumni here or not, but I kind of think that's misnamed. I think, you know, that shouldn't be the name for the school on the north side. It ought to be, the Golden Hurricanes ought to be the name of the school on the south side that has all the gold buildings and the blowhard. That's what. I can't do any Oral Roberts jokes now these days. That's not allowed anymore, you know. Can't do a few of those, huh? Are you guys up on your Oral Roberts history? Some of you maybe a little bit, you know. I got in trouble one time. You guys know Oral Roberts, you know, when he had this big hallucination on top of the prayer tower, and he had to build this hospital. That was the deal. He had to build this big, giant hospital because the 900-foot Jesus was walking by and telling him he needed to do it. You know about that. And so the thing was, he built the hospital, and then it didn't work out, and then he was trying to sell it. And I wrote a deal about that you know, that I thought at the time that maybe an Indian tribe or a group from Las Vegas should buy it, you know, and turn it into the casino of faith. Because it already had a great looking statue. All you had to do is add a pair of dice. Inside they could have the Heaven's Calling You Home. Come 7, Heaven's Calling You Home craftermans inside there. Sporting events, tag team devil wrestling. Okay, you don't know your Oral Roberts history that bad.
Yeah, no.
The devil wrestling there. You could have a, you know, like an amusement deal out the back. You know, there'd be out in the back, there could be maybe a 900-foot tall water slide. You get on top of that thing, it'd be a 900-foot Jesus water slide. Oh. That only works if you remember your Oral Roberts history, okay? Big fans of Oral Roberts?
No, nothing.
Huh? Big fans. People think because I'm old, that I'm not up on the current trends. I'm not up on the current trends, but that's not true. Like last year for Halloween, all the candy I gave out was crushed. I'm up on those deals there. Had a little bit of a scare during Halloween. There was a guy came to my door, dressed all in black, carrying a sickle. I said to him, I sure hope that's a costume. I said, this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. Coming out to neighborhoods full of old people. Where are you going next? To the nursing home? And he stuck his hand out and said, candy. I said, oh my God, the Grim Reaper has a sweet tooth. He says, have you got a will? I said, I'm working on it. Get her done. I said, oh my God, the Grim Reaper is a Larry the Cable Guy fan. I thought he had better taste. I thought he had better taste. Sometimes I'm in my neighborhood. I get up early in the morning, 7:30, and I walk through my neighborhood. And, you know, I'm walking like a zombie. That's the deal there. I'm walking like a zombie through my neighborhood, you know. And and one time a neighbor comes out carrying a pamphlet, carrying a little flyer, a little brochure. And he hands it to me and says, they'll never know who you are. And it turned out to be a pamphlet for AA. He thought I was drunk. Walking at 7:30 in the morning. Like if I was skunk drunk that early. But I wanted to be the healthiest skunk drunk in the neighborhood. So I'm out there walking, you know. Finally got to a point, you know, and I used to carry a water bottle with me when I was out walking. Finally got to a point, I said, they're gonna think this, I'll just carry a flask of water. I had a little flask of water, you know, and that's what I would carry, a flask of water with me there. And that's just, and the doggies come, oh puppy, here you go. Neighbors love that. Neighbors love that. You guys are getting ready for Halloween? Some of you doing that? Do what we did last year. Do what we did last year. Give out witches' testicles. That's for when, for those who think regular popsicles are just not cold enough. 3 great flavors, witches' testicles. They've got toad licorice, rat tail, and Hillary. It's pretty good deal. No more questions? Let's see what else we got. We got some books here. This one is The News and Double Dactyls. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it. It's what it is news items that we put into poems and what they call dactyl type poems. And drew a cartoon. There's a cartoon that goes with each one. For instance, I don't know if you remember this story here, but Senora Cismora, 63-year-old mom gave birth to a wee one. Mom and baby, what a pair. Volume diaper discounts. She's happy, she's beaming, photographically perfect. Baby's blue eyes match mom's hair. You don't remember that news story there? Here's one for you, you hip-hop fans. Yeah, I'll find it somewhere. Rappity zappity. Exiting Las Vegas, Tupac Shakur went down, left town in a box. Not to be outdone by his West Coast rival, Notorious Big, left town in a bigger box. Not many hip-hop fans, I can tell you. Not many at all. I am an old guy. I guess you got to figure that out. But now, I am an old guy. My wife and I have Social Security set once a month, but you can't live on it. Now I go out to the airport just for the pat downs. Whoa! And I'm just ethnic enough looking, I can get a really good pat down. I don't know if any of the other people are into that, if you want to go out and get a good pat down at the airport. Here's a secret to getting a good pat down at the airport. Just when they start going up your leg, getting right up near home plate. When they get right up there close, they say, for the love of Allah, watch it. That'll get you a good pat down. That'll get you a good pat down. I'm a product of World War II. I'll say that to you right now. I'm a product of World War II. During the war, my parents hid me in the basement from the Nazis. And I remember thinking, I'm so glad the Nazis never came to the panhandle of Oklahoma. I'm glad about that, yeah. People ask me how old I am. I tell them when I was born, FDR was president. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And if I happen to mention that to somebody who's older than I am, they always say the same thing. They say, you know, they're not making presidents like FDR anymore. And I say, sure, they cured polio. That one kills them in the nursing home, and then you gotta stop the show. Oh, you killed Charlie, you know. Wheel him off, you know. Here, Mary, you want Charlie's air bottle? It's 3/4 full. 3/4 full. I overhear some cute things in the nursing home sometimes when I'm out there. I actually do some gigs in the nursing home, I'll tell you that. And overhear some cute things. I overheard a couple of guys talking one time about a new gal who had just come into the nursing home. And they were saying, I hear she's got her original hips. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Yeah. I've got some news. I don't know if it's good news or bad news. I've been invited to try out to be a host on Girls Gone Wild. Girls Gone Wild retirement villages. Blue hair babes and their wild Winnebagos. Gertrude and Margaret just got to get something off their chest and onto their tummies. Oh my. Do you all hear about this 83-year-old great-grandmother in California who got a boob job? 83-year-old great-grandmother got a boob job in California. Marie is her name, and she didn't tell anyone about it. She paid $8,000 for the boob job. She didn't tell. She's got like 13 great-grandchildren, 12 grandchildren, 6 children. She didn't tell one, and and she paid for it herself because Medicare doesn't have a double D plan. You want to know about this, maybe? I don't know. The thing is, this is happening more and more. In fact, Victoria's Secret has a bra for the reconstructed cougar. But instead of leopard, it has liver spots. I want to make it realistic. For the reconstructed cougar. Yeah, she was the talk. She was the talk of the rest home years ago. Did you hear about Marie? She came home with a perfect pair of twins. Oh yeah, they were sitting up and everything already. Yeah. Marie is famous because I made her famous. I've been talking about her so much. I even had a limerick for Marie, if you want to hear it. The limerick goes, there was once an old cougar from Cali whose old boots she dropped off in an alley. She paid $8K for a lift. She enhanced her own gifts. Now she does porn in the valley. So no questions for the old guy. No questions for the old guy. It's, you're worried about my hand. My hand is my hand is a little. I'm not going to gimp slap anyone. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to come out there and gimp slap anybody. I tell young comics. Here's something I say to young comics. If you're going to make career trade-offs, be very, very specific. Never say, I'd give my right hand to play Carnegie Hall. And then find out there's a music hall in Carnegie, Oklahoma. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. It's like I say, this has only been a few years. It's like I lost an old friend. I don't know if people are following me on that. I'm telling Sean there that I can't masturbate anymore. Okay, that's that. I'll put that out there. Well, some people say, wait a moment, Silliman. your left hand still works. I said, no.
No.
What good of it is to masturbate if you can't take a tube of lipstick and draw a little mouth on your hand? And I can't do that. I can't draw a mouth on my right hand. I've got no grip with my right hand. And I can't hold the tube of lipstick with my right and draw it on the left. And I can't ask my wife to help me. Because then she'd figure out, after all those years, what's been happening to her lipstick. Can't ask her to do that. Having a bum right hand is not a lot of fun. It's sometimes you can have some fun with it. If I happen to go in a public restroom and they've got one of these Dyson Airblade hand cleaners, you ever seen those things? They have them at the airport quite a bit. That's the kind of V shape. You stick your hands down in like that. Dyson Airblade hand cleaners. And somebody is at the sink washing up, and they've got one of these Airblade hand cleaners behind them. Right there when they're washing up, they're almost done. I go ahead and stick my hands down into the hand cleaner and pull it out and go, ah! Ah! And then they leave, you know. They were just my wife's got little bitty tiny hands. Little bitty tiny hands. Her hands are so small she can't open a mayonnaise jar. So that makes me kind of like the designated jar opener in the family. On the plus side, whenever she gives me a handy, my dick looks enormous. Has to be a plus side somewhere. My wife loves to dance. She's in one of those line dancing groups. She's in one of the line dancing groups, and she practices the songs all the time. Lately, she's in some of the songs she practices are very catchy. Lately, she's been practicing to a song that I think is pretty catchy, and I find myself singing the song, and the song goes like this: if you want to be happy the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. From my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. And I go all around the house singing that song, and she spots me, and she gives me one of those looks. You know what I'm talking about, one of those looks? I say, don't worry, honey, I'm not that happy. Not that happy. Guess I'm gonna have to wash my car. I went out in the parking lot. Somebody had written on the back of it, I wish my girlfriend was this dirty. You know what I did? I crossed where the word was and wrote the word were in there because I'm a writer, can't be driving around bad grammar in my car. Just because some smartass doesn't know his subjunctives. I run into smartasses all the time. Like for Christmas last year, a guy sends me gift certificates for BJ's. Turns out to be a restaurant. Do they have a BJ's in Tulsa? No? Okay, I'll skip that next time. I'll skip that one next time, yeah. But I do, I run into smart asses all the time. I say, like, even my doctor is a smart ass. Even my doctor is a smart ass. Like, we had this big ice storm, and I found myself on the corner of the house, a big chunk of ice falls down, falls on my foot. I go inside, take my shoe off, my foot starts swelling up. I call the doctor, you know what he tells me? Put ice on it. Put ice on it, that's what he says to me. Yeah. He is a smart ass, you know. We have smart asses in the boardrooms of some of our bigger corporations. How else do you explain why the world's tiniest instructions, the world's smallest written instructions, are on the side of a Visine bottle? You know, just smartasses doing that stuff. I do write sports columns. Some of the books I'm selling outside are about sports. There's some of them are compilation of my columns. One of my favorite people to write about is a former Olympic skier, Peekaboo Street. You guys remember her, Peekaboo Street, right? You know what she does now? She gives inspirational speeches all over the country. She's a public speaker. She gave a speech recently for the University of Colorado Medical School. She gave the speech in the wing of a hospital. And I thought that was a great opportunity for somebody to get on the loudspeaker and call her to the intensive care unit. Peekaboo, I see you. Peekaboo, I see you. And I've seen you guys have been great. I'm Stan Silliman, thank you all. Well, welcome back to the nation. I'm still alive.
Still alive. Stan Silliman, once again, everybody. What are you wonderful? And the beautiful Shauna Blake. And thank you for the Comedy Parlor for having us tonight. Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate you guys. Give yourself a hand. Woo! All my friends are the Brady party. I'm like,
He's still writing down.
I know. Show me that. That's great.
down with that. Is that your camera that you set up?